I went to international school in Thailand. So to go from like this, like world, which is a really small community, to a community like the University of Washington, it was like going from like a big fish in a small pond to like a small fish in a big pond.
That's something that I mentioned that you did talk about the comparison between UK and US education. Can you tell me more about how did you come to make this decision?
I think for me it was kind of based on like location, it's like the culture of the country, the learning environment.
Did you share the same opinion because Sandy mentioned that in the US it's more academically challenged?
I think UK curriculum tends to want you to specialize much sooner. You know yourself, like discover yourself very early on, then specializing early is good because then you don't have to learn the subject or study what you don't want to study.
I used to study entrepreneurship. I was going to pursue entrepreneurship, but I had to change my mind because these two were incompatible. It didn't feel right doing history and entrepreneurship alongside each other.
So I guess he's kind enough. Not at the end he allows you to study history.
Yeah, there wasn't much pressure. Do whatever's best for you. Whatever opportunity you have, just seize it, seize the moment.
The teacher, he said, use the next 5 years at your secondary school to just discover about yourself, what you're good at, what you like, and then the school is there to provide whatever facilities you may need to maximize your potential.
Tell me more, how did you become the Sandy current version that stem from the education that helped you?
So I think the number one thing was like resilience, to be able to overcome adversity, that the growth mindset that you can keep improving yourself. Because in the past, I was always like fixed mindset. I was always in this mentality that if I failed, then I failed. So I think the number one thing was just like keep a positive mindset. Know that you can improve. There's room for improvement. There's always a learning curve. I think my freshman year was like a wake-up call for me. It was like me being in deer and headlights. When I got to university, it was a completely different experience compared to high school. I went to international school in Thailand. So to go from like this, like world, which is a really small community, to a community like the University of Washington, it was like going from like a big fish in a small pond to like a small fish in a big pond. I had to learn everything from scratch, and don't be afraid to ask for help.
Your time at university is one of the most important formative years of your life, right? So it's very important in shaping who you are, and who you were when you enter university and who you are when you come out of it can be two very different people with different mindset, different views of the world. Because a lot of my time at university was spent being involved in this student society called Oxford Union, and it was founded based on the principle of free speech. Able to listen to a diverse set of opinions, conflicting set of opinions actually help to shape your thought.
Can you share more of what you perceive in terms of Thai education? What did you hear? What did you learn?
When I hear about Thai education, I hear all this stuff like trying to seem backwards. The government is trying to force people to learn this certain things, so it's kind of being perceived as propaganda. I'm just surprised like Thai education, like the controversy about uniforms, that you have to wear like uniform for the military, uniform for the scouts, uniform for and so on. Trying to enforce certain ideas, impose certain ideas upon people. It doesn't seem like democracy to me. I'd like to hear Kun Adim's thought about hairstyles and hair policies, expression towards fashion in schools.
I'm actually very open because I think for me, if you go back to the purpose of a school, right, is for you to be able to learn. If you still feel uncomfortable in a certain environment, then that's not the best environment for you to learn new things.
How do you see the country now with the younger generation? There are people who want to be here and want to contribute, and there are people who already give up.
I totally understand that. They feel like they don't have a voice in their country. They feel like they're not given enough opportunities to prosper, for a chance at better life, better quality of life, better standard of living. I feel like it's like the US Constitution itself. It's like the strongest. So people feel like, oh, I can say anything I can say. But in Thailand, this environment is a bit restrictive.
คนรุ่นใหม่ความจริงเราอาจจะรู้ตัวเองว่าไม่ได้อยู่ในจุดที่จะไปเป็นผู้นำประเทศในตอนนี้แต่ว่าขอเพียงแค่ว่าให้ผู้ใหญ่ได้ฟังเรา I think is there anything you want to add on this topic?
Younger generations don't want just a perfect house to be built for them, but they want to be involved in the process of building that house, even if it may not be the most perfect house the first time. But right now in Thailand, the house that people are building for younger generation is not perfect. It's far from perfect, and yet the younger generation are not involved in building that house either.
workpoint today สาระความรู้เพื่อวันนี้